Okay, Georg Wong, the floor is all yours for this great webinar. I hand over Franz from the Austrian BRECHBUEHL straight away to Georg Wong from the Construction Industry Council.
Thank you, Franz. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. This is actually the second time the Construction Industry Council partnered with Austria to look into the heart of Europe for a knowledge exchange. This is the last webinar for the 3-day event of the Austria Hong Kong Technologies Days 2022. I hope you all enjoyed the previous one. We will make this one as enjoyable as the previous ones. Now, when you come to Austria or its majestic city capital, Vienna, we all will think about the city of music and the nature of the beautiful landscape. Not so much about its pride and excellency in manufacturing and engineering. Now, actually, Austria has been recently very interested in a dialogue also in the construction tech sector with Hong Kong and Asia. And we are therefore happy to partner up with Advantage Austria, Hong Kong for today's webinar. We especially welcome also Austria Trade Commissioner Franz Rosler. And thank you, Franz, for once again beside all of us. Now, what to expect from this webinar? After the welcomes, we are delighted to have Ms. Susanne Formanek from the Innovation Lab, GRÜNSTATTGRAU, Renovate, who will give us the biggest picture what is happening in Austria and Europe in the building and construction sector. We will then give 10 Austrian tech providers the opportunities to give us a short introduction about their solution. And last but not least, I hope we still have time to answer your questions. Or you could then follow up individually with all the speakers. Please also feel free to type some questions in the chat field here, and we will record the webinar and we'll make available afterwards to all of you. Today's webinar also supported by Hong Kong Green Building Council. It takes place in the framework of the Austria Hong Kong Technology Days 2022, initiated by our both innovation secretaries. And I will also now want to invite Alexander Uckert from the Austria Federal Ministry for Climate Action, Environment, Energy, Mobility, Innovation and Technologies to welcome all of you. Alexander, please.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to Hong Kong and welcome also from my ministry, the Federal Ministry of Climate Action. I'm really looking forward to this exchange today because building innovations and technologies are very fascinating to me. Today's event is part of a bigger initiative. It's called Techsport Initiative, an initiative that has been started by my ministry together with our colleagues from Advantage Austria. So Franz is also a partner for us. And this initiative consists of 4 different pillars. The first one is the Techsport platform. We will get the link in the chat now. It consists of technology profiles that allow you to specifically look for technologies, but not necessarily for companies, but for technologies. And it comes in 6 languages, including English and Chinese, not Cantonese though. So what does it mean? It's just a database of technologies. Let me give you an example. If you want to buy a laptop computer, you know that you can go to Apple, you can go to Lenovo, you know these companies. But if you want to build a high-rise plus energy building, which is a building that produces more energy than the people working or living there can use, which is actually quite cool because you can sell the surplus electricity back into the grid and make some extra money with it. So if you want to build such a plus energy building, you probably may not know which company to contact. And there's no need to know that. You go to the platform and look for the technology. By screening the technologies, you can also find the companies to contact. So all the companies that you will see today have their profiles also on that on that platform. The second pillar of this Techsport initiative are the technology days. That's what's actually happening here. We bring technology providers from different areas of the world and Austria together to exchange the views and start hopefully some good cooperations. Further than that, we also have an RTI funding for tailored innovation. The focus here is to support Austrian companies to tailor an already established product in Austria to the needs of certain markets. Other countries or continents may have other specific needs for a product, and therefore the companies need to adjust it. This can be funded by Techsport as well. It's also a great opportunity for Austrian companies, for example, if they want to do business in Hong Kong, to adjust their products to the Hong Kong standards. And last but not least, we have the RTI funding for bilateral RTI cooperation. These are the classic joint research cooperation. Actually, right now we have a call open with the with the Ministry of Science and Technology in Beijing. So you can also apply there. So we bring companies and research facilities together in order to develop new technologies, but also set a foundation for future cooperation. You see me here, virtually, of course, in the Austrian pavilion of this year's expo that took place in Dubai. This pavilion got a special award last week, the Austrian Green Planet Building Award, an initiative of my ministry, again, together with our colleagues from Advantage Austria, which honors Austrian building and construction know-how outside of Austria. We certify buildings which are extremely sustainable and energy sufficient. The pavilion, for example, was the only building in the Dubai Expo area without an air condition. And you can imagine it can get quite hot in the desert, but AC was not needed because of the special construction of the pavilion. We also gave away awards to buildings in China, and I hope that one day soon we also present an award for a building in Hong Kong that has been constructed in a Hong Kong-Austrian cooperation. So that was just in brief my introduction. So I hope for a productive exchange, and I'm very much looking forward to meeting you, hopefully sooner than later, in person. So all the best from Vienna, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alexander. Honestly, I very much looking forward if you could visit Vienna, the beautiful place. Now let's welcome our guest, keynote speaker, Ms. Susanne Formanek, who has been dedicated her professional life on health and ecology buildings and cities, and is one of the forethinkers in Austria and Europe on how the city of the future should look like. Susanne is currently the CEO of the Innovation Lab, GRÜNSTATTGRAU, which means, when you translate it, green instead of gray. The Austrian Center promotes the greening of building in urban cities. Susanne is also on the board of directors of the Innovation Lab, of another Innovation Lab, which promotes climate neutral renovations, concept, and technologies. Now, please welcome Susanne for his keynote. Susanne, please.
Thank you very much, and welcome. Good morning in our in our region, and thank you for the invitation. I will present. I will with my slides here. Can you see? Can you see it? Is it working?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. Okay. So based on the innovation strategy in Austria, we founded 2 innovation labs. The first of all is RenoWave. This is the innovation laboratory for climate neutral buildings and the districts for the renovation wave. This is why it calls like this. And this is an independent contact point for innovations in the large volume building renovation sector. As you can see, it's funded by the Ministry of Climate Action, as you hear it right now. And the second one is green instead of gray, as you heard it also, it's GRÜNSTATTGRAU. And this innovation lab is focusing the topic of green building in the city, greening building, the green roofs and the green walls, which is also very important to bring the nature-based solution into the city, because we have in Austria a specific construction sector. As you can see here, our buildings are really old, from 400-year-old buildings to net zero energy buildings on the right side down. This means we have a really broad different kind of building sector. And on the top, we have also a lot of social houses, which means 53% of our buildings are owned by social dwellings, for instance. We have new challenges, and one of the challenges is, of course, the heat, which is coming up in the town. Between 2050, we will be increased by 2 degrees, and then we need more energy for cooling down our buildings and our cities than to heat up our buildings. This is a fact, and it's also written down in the IPCC report, and we know that Austria is hit by the climate change very hardly. We know how to build, exactly, because, and you heard it right now, we know we have a lot of technologies, we have a lot of innovations, and we are very glad to have also a building assessment. It's called Climate Active. It's by the Ministry of Climate Change in Austria. And this is a building standard rating. And you see here in the background one building. It's the IKEA in the station center in middle in the town of Vienna. And this is also rated by rated by Climate Active. It's gold standard. And as you can see it here, it's a kind of a tricky building because it has not only, of course, district heating and building component activation and all this technique, but it's also there are also 160 trees. And why this is important is because in the planning period, they looked at the microclimate and they said, what can we do with this building? Not only to have the highest standard of building techniques, but also to cool down the area, because in this district it's very hot. The Westbahnhof, it's so cold, it's one of the hottest spots in Austria. And they build up this building, and what they are reached with the microclimate simulation, that they cool down the whole area by 1.5 degrees right now with this 150 trees here. The other thing is a renovation example. It's called the MA48. It's owned by the city of Vienna, and it's also in the middle of the town. It was greened by the whole facade, and it was built in the 1915. And what it did is they saved the insulation and said, okay, what we can we save an energy, for instance, if we substitute the insulation by using plants on the building? And yes, it was working. We have there 850 square meter of planted grass. It's with grasses here and herbs, and we can save 45 air conditions by cooling down not only the building with plants, but also the area around, and you have also a noise protection, for instance, the microclimate here, the leaves increase the humidity and the cooling down the surroundings. Another example is here is the former Coca-Cola area. It's so called. It was at the time when it was beginning, and it was in 2018 when Harry Glück was still alive. And this huge area was planned also by microclimate analyzers. As you can see here on the left side, it was planned by Greenpass. It was based on EnviMet software. And there right now, it cooled down the surroundings about more than 2 degrees already. there were built about 1,000 apartments, and from this 1,400 apartments were subsidized apartments, and in between 200 smart apartments, smart home apartments. What it affects is that the city of Vienna then made a new regulation, because I was also asked what this is a demonstration project and what are the next steps. So we have now a climate sensitive plannings in the regulations of the city of Vienna. Here you can see the station, the central station. There are also a lot of glass facades, but also in combination with trees. And this is a building which is in the city of Vienna, where the city of Vienna tries to substitute the mechanical shading by plant shading, and it was working. It's now, I think, more than 5 years old. And we have there cooling down the building by this shading by the plants. We have a lot of glass facades in Vienna, and it's also a topic about the albedo. The albedo is the reflection of the sun. And not to heat up the cities, we can also combine it here with the shading system by using of architectural elements, like you can see it here. It's an Amlarberg. So it's very important to combine the technique which we have in the building, for instance, using gray water or insulation or the preconditions for the ventilation systems, by using also the nature-based solution, as you can see it here. But also, as we heard it before, to combine it with, or to find synergies with a plus energy district. This is a presentation slide from the ministry, and you can see it with these bubbles. Of course, it's not only electricity what we are looking for and focusing, the heating and the cooling. It's also the mobility what should be concerned, and the gray energy in combination. So we do not have to focus on one building, we have to focus on districts. This is very important then to find the best combination for a future plus energy district, and not forget that we have the climate change, but we have also to mitigate. This is a slide from a partner from Greece, which I think it's very interesting, because they made up some thoughts about where is innovation in the future. And as you can see, it's also, for instance, cool pavements, and there are new innovations right now, smart clothing. We are speaking about the buildings, and they are built already. So what can we do with these buildings, for instance, with new innovations in the nanomaterials, use of the ground, use the ventilation, which is already here. There are some we had in the last 5 years about 250 projects in this area, and still there are 35 running, and they're all on our website, which is very new, that we are focusing not only on districts, more on cities, because of the new mission of the European Commissions. It's called the 100 Climate Neutral Cities by 2030. And there it is very important to focus on the people are living in the cities, the municipalities, and we are working together with them. And you can see the cadastre of the city of Vienna, which means how can we use on the right side our roofs for production of energy for photovoltaic, but also in the same case to use it, for instance, for greening the city. This must not be a competition. It could work together, and here you can see one innovation, but you can also do it by bifacial systems, which are quite new. The combination is 10 years old, and it's working, and has also a lot of advantages. In the future, we have to measure and to plan with all data what we can get. And here you see a visualization from the ESA, from the Sentinel data from the satellite. What we are doing right now is that we are using this data, and here you can see the score describes the impact of the retrofitting a house with a green roof based on the land surface temperature and the surrounding greenness. But you can also, this is Innsbruck, it's in Tyrol in Austria, but you could also use it, of course, for the electric power production potential, for the how much can we get here from the power production potential, which is quite interesting. And I think there's a lot of possibilities for us if we are using this data in the future. So to come to an end, I will sum up what we are doing right now in Austria. We have our instrument, of course, we have the regulations, the building code, which is based on the of the European Performance District Directive. Then, of course, we have Energy Pass, the Energy Efficiency Law. Then we have funding. There are a lot of possibilities in Austria about subsidies and incentives, but also for R&D, new instruments. Then we have a lot of strategies programs, as you heard it before, in of Klimaaktiv, but also our climate energy program, waste reduction, for instance, and what is very important to produce benchmarks, as you can see today, with assessment and criteria, which has also labeling here. These are the 4 points of what we are relying on. And of course, it's very important also to, in every project, to work with the city residents here, to bring them together. Here you can see the heat map on the left side. So we are working with them to demonstrate what we can do and how much it costs. This is very important also to tell them, of course, it's everything possible, but there's also we need also money. Yes, 3 slides more. There is just right now in Europe, there's a construction technology platform building up. It's called Meta Building, and there are a lot of innovation funding programs listed, but also technologies, and they're networking and setting up new innovation programs, but also projects. Then there is the biggest World Congress next year coming up in Berlin for 3 days. They are focusing the building greening, and we have one big Congress next year. It's called the BAUTZ Congress. Since 20 years, it's the Vienna Congress on Sustainable Building. Thank you very much, and I will welcome any questions here. Thank you.
Thank you, Susanne. I hope the Hong Kong petitioner and then planner, they could adopt and learn from your green approach to the built environment, and then make Hong Kong a better place to live. Now, may I invite Alexander Kiefer from the Austria Research Promotion Agency, FFG, to join us to facilitate the introductions of the other Austrian tech providers looking for partners in Hong Kong. Alexander, please.
Thank you, and hello from Vienna. I'm Alexander Kiefer from the Austrian Research Promotion Agency, and thanks to the Techsport initiative, we have now set the stage for 10 technology pitches for the construction and building sector. We are glad to have so many viewers today for sharing Austrian technology innovation. Please contact our technology providers or book meetings on our matchmaking platform after this webinar. Because of time constraints, the following pitches will be kept very short. You can see them as appetizers for more detailed follow-up discussions. Let's now start with our first speaker from the company Cree Buildings.
Hi, hello. Hello everyone, good afternoon and good morning. My name is Elif İstanbulluoğlu. I'm an architect at Cree Buildings, and having said that, I want to jump off to my presentation. Next slide. So, what do Cree Buildings look like? What you see here is a flat pack modular systemized construction system that is based on concrete, timber, composite components, and timber frame wall elements, which are delivered to the site fully prefabricated, helping us to achieve extreme assembly speeds on site. So we can cover 400 to 500 square meters per day, creating fully weather-tight spaces below. This is an office project in Luxembourg, but we not only have projects there, but also worldwide. So I would like to quickly click through some of the examples. Edge Südkreuz Berlin, this is currently the biggest timber hybrid project in all over Germany. Ilwerke Zentrum Montafon, office building in Austria. Next is UBC Gateway Project, a university building in Vancouver coming up next year. Unia Junior College, this is an office building in Singapore in operations since 3 years. Then next is Victoria Park Project. This is a residential tower in Toronto in design currently. And then Siemens Campus Erlangen. This is also office buildings, one of our biggest projects with 80,000 square meters footprint. So how do we realize these projects? We are an international construction collective. That means that we are enabling local partners worldwide to execute building projects with the same system and processes, utilizing local value chains with globally shared know-how. So, and that know-how accumulates on our digital platform. Next. So this is how our digital platform looks like. And it's an open platform, not only consists of library, but also hosts the entire collective. So in the next slide, you will see that we learn from each other, we build, and we learn from those buildings, so that learnings feed back to the collective again to build better the next time. So it is all to build better and shape the future together. So I would like to also invite you to join the journey. Thank you. This is it from my end.
Thank you very much, and thank you for keeping it short. I will just introduce our next speaker from Rubner Holzbau. Please, Phyllis CHONG. You're still muted, Phyllis. Great.
Sorry. Okay. So can you put the next slide, please? Right. So we are a Rubner group, and we have been around for almost a century. So since 1926, we can be considered as one of the leading timber engineering and construction company in the world. Next slide. Next, please. So our vision is to build a greener world by building with wood, but we cannot do it alone. We can only achieve them together with our clients and business partner. Next, please. So we can design and build a good wide range of wood structural products. So, but today I would like to emphasize glue laminated timber. Next slide. So glue is a sustainable material for buildings and is an engineered product that can provide a very good, strong building structures, even it's a very long spanning structure design. So let's go to one of our factory located at our Groundfunders. So we have a few factories in Europe. So this is one of our factory, and we produce more than 85,000 coulombs and 250 meter square roof and wall elements. And this will help to reduce the carbon almost 100,000 tons a year. Next, please. Right, so I just want to show you some important steps to manufacture glulam. So this is a finger joining machines that can make up to 50 meters long of glulams, 50. Next, please. Right, this is hydraulic press, so which is provide to press the laminate into multi-layers of engineered wood products. Next, please. So this is the CNC machines that can provide a very high accurate of the drillings and cutting during the process. So next, please. So we have a wide range of projects in the world, in Europe, Asia, and many parts of the world. But today I will only show you some of our iconic projects in Asia Pacific. Next, please. So this is our first project in Asia, Medan Cebu International Airport. It's a project designed by Hong Kong architect. Next. Right. So just want to click on with the project to Singapore project, please. Right. Okay. So we have many projects in Singapore, more than 15 projects in Singapore since 2016. So this is one of the bigger projects we have in Singapore, and also one of the tallest timber building in Singapore. Next, please. So this is a 7-story Gulam projects that comprising Gulams. So this is Australia projects that located in Melbourne, and we just completed recent a couple of years ago. Next, you can click on the projects. Right.
Okay, Phyllis, thank you.
Thank you so much. And yeah, so we can be your timber construction partners. Just give us email later, or we can have a one-to-one meeting later if you're interested to know more about us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And our next speaker is the director from Baumschlager Eberle, Mr. Beisi. Are you here?
Yes. Can I start my video?
Yes, you can start your video.
Okay, but it seems stopped. You can't see me.
Okay. If the video doesn't work, you can.
It works now.
It works. Great.
Okay, good. Good afternoon and good morning. I present a company called BE, Baumschlager Eberle. Next, please. So my name is Beisi. I'm the director and partner of BE company in Hong Kong. Next. So we are architects and we are doing buildings. And what kind of buildings, what kind of architecture design for? We are doing buildings for comfort, for sustainable, for low energy, and for intelligent buildings. Next. So we have a company mainly in Europe. We have a totally 14 companies, and we have 3 in Asia, and one of them in Hong Kong, and the second is in Shanghai. Next. So we do more than 300 projects now since the companies started in 1980. So we have a project in Europe, in all the big cities, and also you have a project in Beijing and in Shanghai, etc. Next. So if you remember this buildings on TV, this building for World Health Organization, okay, built about 20 years ago in Geneva. Next. So what is special for BE? We're firmly rooted in practice. We are doing design. So we have demonstrated a particular skill in which flexibility, sustainable building, and a high level of craftsmanship and the beauty of architecture are acceptably combined in reasonable price and simple compact buildings. And our experience and know-how are considerably significant for researchers and practitioners with respect to implementation of sustainable building approach, which aims to achieve the successful combination of research and practice. So what's the details? Okay, so what means about high comfort and low energy buildings? We need 2 things about intelligence. First, intelligence relates to the knowledge, and the second, intelligence relates to the technology. And we always put knowledge in front of the technology. It means know-how, how to use technology is more important than the technology itself. Next. So this is our buildings. Currently started building in Europe. So you can see the comparison, the energy consumption. The blue one is our building, and the gray is conventional buildings. So we are targeting on saving 67% energy comparing with existing buildings. Next. And for the life cycle costs of the whole buildings, we are targeting about 49% of lower energy than conventional buildings. Next. And the construction costs even lower than the conventional buildings. Next.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. Thank you. Our next speaker is, yes, thank you. The slides will be sent to you after this session, so you can have plenty of time then to look after them. And our next speaker is Andreas GANAHL from the company Liebherr.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to welcome everybody to the Austrian Technology Day. A special greeting to our Austrian participants from abroad.
Mr. GANAHL, I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you have a video or do you do it without? Yes, great.
I can. Global warming and pollution is an issue which concerns everybody, not only the governments. Each of us has to do their part of it to ensure a reduction of emission. Liebherr's philosophy is not only building machines, we are also shifting now into a new area as a solution provider. Next, please. Such solutions available these days is our lift crane, which operates unplugged. A battery-driven, which performs same as another conventional crawler crane, except there is no pollution and a reduced noise level. Easy operation and installation on each construction site is guaranteed. Next. The same machine equipped with a diesel engine would consume approximately 11,700 liter fuel and creates around 30 tons CO2. Such pollution can be now totally avoided. Next. The first unit of such machine has been delivered to Norway in 2021, and currently we have now 30 machines globally in operation. I'm proud to say that such machine is due to arrive in Hong Kong very soon and be part of such development and change within the construction industry. Next. We can see already that some of the major industry players are keen to participate in such changes. However, more work needs to be done, especially on governmental level in Hong Kong, to accept such emission-free machinery in and around Hong Kong. Due to the higher initial investment costs involved, there are still some obstacles locally which are no longer exist in some European countries, which provides extensive funding of such environmental projects in order to speed up the market share of electrified construction equipment. I'm looking forward to have some fruitful discussions in the near future. If there is any interest from anybody for a site visit or face-to-face discussion, this can be arranged at any time. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. GANAHL, and thank you for keeping it concise. We're almost halfway through the technology pitches. Just a short reminder that you can follow up with each speaker after the sessions on our B2Match platform. And with that, I welcome Matej BANOZIC from the Austrian Institute of Technology.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Matej BANOZIC, and I'm here today to talk to you about the Austrian Institute of Technology and how our innovations in energy research can support your businesses. So now let me begin on the next slide. You can see the center is funded by national and international funding. We have over 250 researchers with a diverse background in different scientific fields, ranging from engineering to economics. In the next slide, you can see our strategic positions in energy supply systems, industrial energy systems, and for today's talk, most relevant, cities and the built environment. Regarding cities, we can see on the next slide, the main innovation needs are digital building technologies, cooling and comfort for buildings, and refurbishment technologies, as also business models. On the following slide, you can see our structure of the center, which is structured in 5 units with 12 different research fields. The marked fields work with their experience and competences on digital building technologies. This transdisciplinary approach allows us to understand the energy demands and flows along the life cycle of a building or infrastructure. So in the next slide, we maybe go deeper into the life cycle of the building, where we start with relevant topics in the planning phase, which has a huge impact on the energy performance of buildings. Here we support with open BIM standardization to have a databases. We develop innovative energy concepts for energetic optimization, also implementing renewable energy systems like photovoltaic or solar, which was mentioned before. And the construction process gained more importance regarding the reduction of CO2 emissions on the construction side by integrating also renewable systems. And also the operation of buildings is usually the longest period in the life cycle of a building and has a lot of potential when identifying errors with new technologies and optimizing the energetic demands. And at the end of the life cycle, we're looking with our partners how our concepts of circular economy can contribute to reconstruction and processing of dismantled resources and materials. And on one of the last slides, you can see an overview of our laboratory infrastructure. Here I want to mention the thermal storage laboratory or the heat pump laboratory, where we develop new innovative products. And at the end of the presentation, I want to show you also the SIL, this City Intelligence Lab, which was developed as a platform for digital collaboration. We focus on urban planning, but we are extending it to the levels of buildings. So I'm looking forward to discuss topics later in the Q&A sections. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time, Mr. BANOZIC. Our next speaker is from the company's SILBER Fensterbau Managing Director, Andreas BRECHBUEHL.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Alexander. Actually, we are representing SILBER in Hong Kong, Macau. However, the company I'm working for is AUB Limited. Let me introduce premium windows and doors. Next, please. That's the dream houses SILBER is focusing on, maybe in Hong Kong, maybe in Spain. Just to give you the world SILBER is working in. Next, please. SILBER stands for innovation, customization, quality. They produce sophisticated windows since many years, 150 years to be precise. They love the detail in precision and workmanship. SILBER windows are handmade. The result is, of course, a very, very sophisticated product to the highest quality standards. Next, please. SILBER main entrance doors have distinct features and benefits. The design leads to very good thermal insulation. The product can achieve best U values. The closed butt joint, as they say in the high tech in this particular industry, leads to the best sustainable wood protection, all innovated and further developed by SILBER over the last many years. Next, please. A SILBER entrance door is unique. It is exclusive and very individual. Basically, what SILBER loves to do is to build a door which is designed by the individual, by the owner, or by his architect and interior designer, and they will make the door just for that. SILBER is a family-owned business. They focus on individual solutions in wood, but also in combination with aluminium and bronze. Variable type of openings, forms, shapes to the highest quality standards, also in the hardware and fittings they're using. Attack resistance RC3, acoustic tightness up to 43 dB, thermal insulation, and of course a long-term warranty is part of the SILBER offering. A few pictures, luxury villas, French style, French windows. Also the doors related to the same house. Maybe a word about the technology, the hardware. The doors usually have a thickness between 80 and 120 mm, combinable with high security multi-point locks, security cylinders, and last but not least, of course, most important for today, biometric entrance solutions from eKey, also an Austrian company. And that's how it can look like. You can see here on the pull hand on the left-hand side is an eKey fingerprint module to open a classic door combined with very high-end technology. These are how the doors look like, classic wooden doors. Very unique shape, bronze combined, and with bronze windows, architectural bronze, very specialized. And then next one. This is the door we showed at the recent Build for Asia exhibition in Hong Kong. We showed it as a live demo. It's an oak wood, and it was made a big impression on the customers to shown on our booth, AUB Limited. We are a sales partner for silver in Hong Kong and Macau. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. BRECHBUEHL, and thank you for correcting me on the mix-up of the company names. Okay. Our next speaker is Marcos Garcia from RIEGL Laser Measurement Systems.
Thank you very much, Alexander. I wanted today, next slide, please, just to quickly run you through what RIEGL does. Our presence worldwide, you can see later. The presentation will be running through the different slides every 10 seconds or so, but I want you to concentrate on what is it that we do. LiDAR and LiDAR 3D measurement technology. Almost any aspect of construction that you can think of will need measurements, and that is what we do. Through a range of instruments, you will see later on the presentation when you receive it, we measure the world. Anything from the planning, design, construction, and even monitoring of almost every aspect of construction is what you will be using a laser scanner for. Whereas you want to scan a room, a building, beam modeling, to scanning an entire city or an entire country. You will be scanning an entire city to plan how and when and where you're gonna put your buildings, your bridges, etc., etc. So LiDAR technology nowadays achieve something that it was unprecedented just a few years ago. RIEGL is at the forefront of the technology. We've been around for almost 45 years, and we have, thanks to our researchers and developers, some of the most advanced technologies out there in the market. So please reach out either virtually or in the exhibition next week, and I'll be very happy to take you through your particular need and how a RIEGL laser scanner can help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we are glad to have now the company Shadowmap pitching their solution. Mr. Georg Molzer.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Georg Molzer from Shadowmap. We are building the digital interface to the sun. And what we try is, next slide please, we try to build the compass to the sun. So as the compass shows you north, we are guiding you towards the sun. Next slide. And also next slide. The sun is super important. Its energy is what brings us into this life and keeps us alive and happy. It's crucial for liquid water, photosynthesis, and more. There wouldn't be anything here on Earth without the sun. Next slide, please. Also, energy crisis is a huge topic. Next slide. And it's ridiculous given how we have this fusion reactor in the sky, which should not be able to power our Earth. Next slide, please. And also next slide. And in fact, we could power 1,000 Earths with the energy that hits the Earth's surface. And next slide, you see that we don't even source 1% of our primary energy demands by the sun. Next slide, please. We want to change that. We believe in a world that runs on the sun. Next slide. And this is our contribution. Oh, the previous slide, please. You skip one. Please start the video. Okay. This is Hong Kong. Usually you should see a video here. And this shows, okay, let's stick it with Vienna. It's also fine. We are building an interactive visualization tool that allows to integrate different data, three-dimensional data, buildings, terrain, and also vegetation into an interactive app. And with this, you can visualize solar shadows. Next slide, please. This combination works on any device, on any hardware, and it runs right away without any download. We have a mathematical sun model and our custom maps engine, which allows to integrate arbitrary data. Next slide, please. You can also import own 3D models. So what we are now working on is that you can, on a district scale, you can import whole cities into Shadowmap. Next slide, please. And this works from 5,000 euros a month. We can do district scale visualizations, and you can do this. You can use this for city planning, for urban planning, for real estate and solar. Next slide, please. It's not only about real estate and buildings, but of course about solar energy, also about health. The health is a huge aspect in regards to the sun, and Mufasa would say everything the light touches is a case. Next slide, please. In fact, by 2050, it's estimated that cooling of buildings is going to be the biggest cost and energy factor in buildings. So it's crucial to respect the sun in these regards. Next slide, please. This is our team. Next slide. And our mission is to build the tools and inspire humanity to return into a synergetic relationship with the sun. Next slide, please. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to talk with you guys. Looking forward to start first cooperations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Molzer. And our final speaker for today, Mr. Franz Haller from Mixed Terracing.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I hope you can hear me.
We can hear you. Your picture is still not there.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
thank you
very much. Next slide, please. Yeah, just imagine to develop a CO2 neutral concrete within 3 months with the same quality as always, without changing the production quality and without changing the production method. So this will show in the next slide. This is our software solution, Mixed Terracing. We're a digital mixing master to optimize concrete mixture within 2 to 3 months. On the next slide, I show you the problem. Concrete is the most widely used material in the world with millions and billions of tons. And on the next slide, you see that it's a big problem because concrete alone has 8% of global CO2 emissions. And how do we tackle this? Well, next slide, please. As I said before, we have to develop the software as a digital mixing master where you can virtually simulate new, more efficient concrete mixes to return CO2 footprint, and you're 10 times faster than doing it manually. Next slide, please. Why is this important? Well, new and more efficient mixes are done now by hand through trial and error. With our software, you're not even faster. You save money because you reduce cement and the most expensive parts. And of course, for the environment, also positive is you reduce CO2, which is the cement part. And you have a win-win-win for the society, for your company, and for the customer. So this is a running project with some customers. We had the pleasure to reduce 5 to 10% with existing mixes. Next slide, please. And this is the software it looks like. You get new mix designs. We can optimize for price and for CO2. And most of the customers will go for the lower CO2 because the price of CO2 in Europe is skyrocketing. And also in the other regions, if you want to put in recycling aggregates, new materials, etc., and especially for an island and for a region where you import most of the materials, it's important to optimize the whole mix in terms of quality and of terms of price and CO2. Next slide, please. Yeah, we have some big corporations already using our software, from Austria to Switzerland to Japan, France, Europe. We are talking with some guys in the US, in New Zealand. So we're also happy to go into China and to Hong Kong. Next slide. Yeah, and that's our promise. That's our solution. With us, you will be 10 times faster to reach your CO2 goals and to develop new, more efficient materials within 3 months. And we're happy to support you on the road to net zero. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Franz Haller, for concluding the technology pitches. And thank you all speakers for your pitches and for giving us a brief overview of your solutions. We are aware that a few minutes introduction don't do the technologies justice, and therefore, again, the offer to the audience to follow up afterwards with these companies. Please get in touch. The Austrian Trade Commission is happy to assist you. And that's it from my side. Now I give the word back to Mr. George Wong.
Thank you very much, Alexander. I hope all of you will be interested to get in touch with one of these companies. Obviously, some of them are very interesting, and also, if you would like, you might also want to upgrade your home with the windows that has been introduced. Now, may I ask all the panelists to turn on your camera? I think our audience will not mind to overrun a little bit, maybe 10 minutes into 4 o'clock. I will try to keep it short, but I really hope to have some engagement with all the panelists. Now, I heard some topics that I would like to talk about. Maybe, excuse me. Let's start with the not so much talk about topic about our material, timber in particular, that may not be very popular in Hong Kong, but all over the world, it is a popular building material. I would like to ask Phyllis, can you share a little bit of your experience or your knowledge that how timber could be more being used in Hong Kong or in places like big city, very congested, and that we can make use of it to make it more environmental friendly?
Well, thank you for asking these questions. Like in Hong Kong, definitely a little bit of catch up with timber structure buildings. So I guess that for our company, we kind of like aim of for Hong Kong is to start from a small project, single story projects, or a special projects, such as like the screen behind me, like airports. And by all this, I think most importantly, I think the government initiative to encourage the local public or private sector to build timber, because obviously country like in Singapore and Australia, they are catching up. They are building quite a number of timber buildings nowadays. So I think so for Hong Kong, which is congested, I guess. To try a small project first, you know, to test drive how it, yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. We start with small, and then we gradually will build it into a big community.
Yes, because we are building one of the tallest building in Germany right now. Is around 18 stories that are composite of 16-story timber structures and 2-story with concrete. So you see, it's possible to build up to 18, 20 stories. Yeah, so start with small first.
Right. Thank you very much. And indeed, you point out a good point that is very often in the world, it is government driven. So we hope our government could do more about it. And another material that I would like to bring out is the concrete that Franz just mentioned briefly. Could you share more with us how the concrete technology has been, the latest concrete technology has been very user-friendly, environmental friendly indeed. And do you have agents in Hong Kong to promote this the green concrete. And also talk about I heard you say, I saw you say have AI in there. What is the AI about in this material? Hi, Franz.
Yeah, sorry for me. Okay, just yeah. So we have a combination of classical statistical approach AI to optimize the materials, but we have a combination through physical chemical models, how concrete and cement are working, combined with the robust optimization algorithms to get robust mixes that you can withstand some deviations in the quality of the materials in the outcome to really get a robust mix, meaning that if you pour too little or too much of it, or there is some humidity, that you still have the quality needed on the construction site. So it's a combination of different layers, different IP layers. It's all our IP. And our USP is that we have so-called small data AI. We don't need hundreds and thousands of data points to start optimized. We only need 15 data points. So if you're working with new materials, with recycled aggregates, the database is pretty small. You need to start optimizing. And we have, for example, developed an wood recycled aggregate concrete, where we had old recycled wood aggregates from recycled buildings. And we had 25% of this wood in the concrete with compressive strength, with a strength of 35 megapascal. So you can use it for industrial purposes. This is really interesting.
Right, thank you very much. And have you heard about the CITF, Construction Innovation Technology Fund in Hong Kong?
Not yet.
Yeah, that's good. I might get in touch with you later. It is a fund set up by the Hong Kong government to help our industry to adopt innovation technologies in the construction industry. They fund up to 70% of the product. So
thank you very much. Look forward to it.
Yeah, green concrete definitely, like BIM and other innovation technologies like Marco's doing the laser scanning. We also have a subsidy for that, and company may get up to a few millions of subsidies per company. But, well, I'm not going to detail because I'm aware of the time. Let me switch a little bit on the energy side. Is Susanne still here?
Yes, I'm here.
Susanne. Can you share a little bit more on how the green approach, or how we could in Hong Kong better utilize our energy to make our city more going into the direction of zero carbon?
You know, first of all, it's the best to use no energy. That's always the best. And secondly, if we use energy, of course, then to use renewable energy. And then to build up, as I said it, so-called plus energy districts. This means smart, intelligent districts where somebody who needs energy gives the get it from the other houses, and so we have to think more in districts with storing their energy wherever it's possible. Of course, also in geothermal, the storage in geothermal side. We have some really interesting projects here in Austria. One of them is the Geblergasse, it's so called, where we used 14 geothermal systems and four multi-storage houses were combined. And what is special here is that there are existing houses. There are not new built houses, or they are existing. And this is what we have to do, because there is a built, our cities are built already, and we have to use the built cities already, the houses which are here already, because they have so much gray energy in it. So in Austria, there is a big community right now starting for the recycling topic, for circular economy, and we need also the framework for it. So we have to change our laws and our building, yeah, it's like building laws. I don't know how you have it in Hong Kong, but here in Austria, you have to, if you have to think new, then you have also build up the framework also. Yeah. And this is what I think is the first point what we have to do. And also, as I said, subsidies are very important to also to have awareness of the publicity, to tell the people that we have to restructure our cities and also the energy consumption. But I have to admit that it's going too slowly here in Austria. We know how to do it, but it's kind of hard, yes.
Yeah, we all moving ahead, but not as fast as we all expected, but we are going there. And I'm glad you point out one key point is that actually most of our built environment is already there. We have to tackle the energy efficiency on a retrospective perspective, so to speak. And to that, I would like to bring out is that Mr. Beisi, BNC, Mr. Georg,
yes.
Here with us. Yes,
yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So, could your solution or your technologies could help on this end, like energy saving and monitoring things like that?
Yes, I just turned on my video. Okay, thanks for the question. I think the most important technology is how to synthesize existing technology together. Mm-hmm. And we have to look at this software more than hardware. Okay, and we need to distribute our knowledge more and also our energy more intelligently based on the time and based on the people, like how many people in the room and when are there. So they need the cooling and or they need the heating. So this really depending on the software or the brain of the building. So we need to make building smart.
Right. That is a very good point. Indeed, like the Construction Industry Council, we published a construction digitalization roadmap last year, by near the end of last year, and at that we have sort of promulgated what we call a digital application areas. We have 6 digital application area, and at the core of it, it is smart data sharing. It is indeed what you point out, that we have to you know, have all the platform or all software that the data they need to be shared to get the most out of the what we know, learn from the system, things like that. This is very important indeed. So the government is actually Hong Kong government is setting up the what we call the CSDI, Common Spatial Data Infrastructure. With that, the government will open up more and more spatial data for you guys and also the stakeholders to make use of it, and hopefully we can get smarter from that. And now I'm aware of the time, so let me jump to what I want to discuss on the very hot topic. Actually, everyone is doing this, and it's about digitalization and about digital technologies. And to this, maybe let me ask George. Is that called George without a E? I think it's still called George, right? And that's fine, yeah, could you share a little bit on how your company Shadowmap could help on this digitization front? Like, is your analysis the data will feed back to the what we call the building information modeling technologies, or could it be the data could be used somewhere else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shadowmap right now works primarily as a visualization tool, so it helps to sell ideas and to communicate construction plans and also visualize the impact on new buildings to the surroundings. We are working already on analysis, so you will also be able to get out clear numbers from this, and this can then be used to influence decisions as well. But the sun has such an impact on personal health as well. There are studies that in Asia, in cities with lots of skyscrapers, people are getting less and less UV exposure and having vitamin D deficits, etc. So it's crucial to plan with the sun to optimize energy efficiency. So you want to reduce cooling, but you also want to have visible light to increase mental well-being, etc. So our tool is here to be integrated into other websites, existing websites, and help with the dialogue with people in regards to sun exposure.
Right. Yeah, that is important. Actually, the sun, especially not just mention about the office built environment for this solar analysis, but while we are having the construction stage, the sun is actually directly onto our labors. So it might help to, if we can make some measures with your technologies to get rid of the sun, the solar energy, so to speak. Now, with that, I would like to invite is it Andreas on from Liebherr about your electric crane. I wonder if it's already equipped with digital technologies that we can control it remotely, or if not, could you extend it to such that worker don't need to the driver, they don't need to go on to the construction sites and get the risk off from the construction activity?
There's certain technology or digitalization inside in the machine where the driver can see how to operate and how the status of the machine is. Remotely control the machine that the driver sits outside. This technology is already available, but there's a certain restriction behind, mostly by the governments, due to the safety issue. I mean, operating on a congested site remotely where the driver sits in the office, air conditioned and very nice, and there are other people working on site. It's a bit a hazard currently, but we have technology or developed machines where they can totally remotely drive, mostly in mine sites and where it's limited access.
Right. Yeah. Thank you very much. And I hope to see more of that happening in construction sites, not only in Hong Kong, but also all over the world, because I see the energy side or the whatever mentioned is just a byproduct. I think most importantly is the safety, is our life. So if we could get our workers away from the construction sites, but still get the work done, then that is the best thing. Now, I don't want to keep the audience for too long. Maybe I will just see if Elif or Matej, if you would like to say a few words on the subjects like digitalization and energy saving or material. And please be feel. I think each of you got 1 minute.
I think Elif left already.
Yes, I was just about to leave.
Okay, so you're on again. I pull you back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to maybe touch upon the last thing you said, that if we can move the workers out from the site but still keep the job done, it also aligns with how we operate and how we would like to construct buildings, keeping everything integrated and fully digitized in the beginning, having everything prefabricated, and then completing the assembly with only 5 to 6 people needed. So that's the goal also for future construction sites from our end.
Right. Thank you very much. That's very important. And Matej, you want to say anything before I close this?
Yeah. Maybe to add up, we need to think buildings regarding the life cycle, not just focus on one phase, on the design or on the construction side. It needs a more holistic approach. Also in talking of energy consumption and optimization. So we are looking into into each phase of the life cycle and how we can make not just our building smarter, but the whole process smarter and greener.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Matej. It is actually coming to a big conclusion that we have to look round and round from the whole life cycle perspective. This is very important, and this is what say, for example, the digitization or building information is all about. We get early engagement planning for whatever the life of the build assets that we have to plan for. And so with that, thank you very much all of the speakers, and then I have a great pleasure again to have you all to share your latest development technologies from Austria to Hong Kong. And then so this afternoon has been at least myself has been very enjoying the event, and so I hope we can partner with Austria again next year, and then we will come up. You guys will hopefully the audience and can inspired by this this content, and then generate some new ideas to apply the latest technologies. Now, thank you again, all the speakers, all the participants, and also the Austrian Trade Commissioner, and for organizing this together. Thank you very much. And then perhaps I will pass back to Franz, if you would like to say a few words before we ran out too late.
Everything was said, but we can promise we will be back. The Austrians will be back. It's such a wonderful partnership with the Construction Industry Council, also the Hong Kong Green Building Council, Smart City Consortium, and all in the industry. So please also special thanks, George. You did a wonderful thing. You know, so many different technologies. It's only a showcase of what Austria can offer. I would encourage everyone also at the Construction Innovation Expo, very important, next week. Austria will be there, several Austrian companies. We also put it into the chat. And please also reach out to Advantage Austria here in Hong Kong for introduction to these and other wonderful technologies and companies. So a big Dankeschön to everyone for your attention. We will make all the presentation and the slides and the contacts again available, so you will all get a message, because we all would like to stay in touch with you. Thank you. Dankeschön.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Danke. Wiederschauen.
Bye. Bye.